and welcome to CHQ Backstage. My name is Deborah Sunya Moore, and I serve as Chief Program Officer here at Chautauqua Institution. And today I am thrilled to welcome to the studio Hope Boykin. Hope is educator, creator, mover, and motivator. This is you, right, Hope?
It's me. Thank you for that. Thank you. I found one day that I wanted to list all of the things that I felt like I wanted to do well. And those were the things. So I've made them my mission and my vision to educate, create, move, and motivate. And here we are.
Well, you ooze mission. And this is what I love about an artist, where someone might first see on paper your incredible career as a dancer and say, clearly this artist is a dancer because she just finished 20 years with Ailey Dance Theater. That's an amazing thing. And yet everything about who you are is so much more than one dance form. And I wanted to explore today, in general, what drives you to create. And would really love to take that from more toward the early part of your career, when I know you were an original member of Complexions, which is a dance company that I have much respect for, and kind of follow you through what drives you to create now at this different part of your career. So can we rewind your career a little bit?
You know, let's go back even further. When I am from Durham, North Carolina.
Yes.
And Durham is the home of ADF, the American Dance Festival, which is like a modern dance summer school for adults. Like, that's what I called it.
Hotbed of dance.
Right, exactly. And I mean, there was Jacob's Pillow and Bates and ADF. So those were but knowing that all of these dance companies were coming through the summer, my mother and my family would always take me to see this summer festival of dances, 6 weeks of different companies coming in.
So you saw so much, so
much without even realizing that I was learning. And as a junior in high school, I got a scholarship to go to ADF. And I was like, well, I can't stay on campus. I can't do this. I can't do that. My mom said, well, okay, I had a car. I had to come home on the weekends, but I could stay on campus since classes were so early. And in the evenings, in the main lobby of Southgate Dormitory, dancers would come together and just improv and make work. And I was like, is this what you do? This is what I want to do. So not only my summer going into my senior year, but then my senior year summer of after high school, after I graduated. And then I came back again. And it was just like, here I am, this 3-time, alum now. Now I'm an ADF alum. And I've gone there and I've seen dance pioneers. I was surrounded, Lucas Hoving, Stuart Hodes, Betty Jones. I met Pauline Connor there, like Donald McHale, Pearl Primus, Bernard Johnson, Fred Benjamin, like all of these people, these beginners, these brain children of modern dance were there. And I was like, oh, but look what they've made. Oh, look what I can make. Well, let me try that. Let me find this voice. Oh, they did it like this. What if I added? And so I was always trying to put these hope-isms sort of on what someone else taught me. Not thinking much about it, but like, what would I do? And then I moved to New York. I left for a semester. I left Howard University because I just wanted to see what it was like in New York. And I studied at the Ailey School, and I started to see these workshops and repertory, and company members at the Ailey School would do work on the students for the summer. And I was in an Andre Tyson piece, and I had gotten to do a work by Matthew Rushing, who happens to now be one of my best friends. And then Dwight Rhoden tapped me on the shoulder one day and said, Desmond Richardson and I are putting on a concert. Would you like to be in it? And I was like, sure. I'm looking around, and they're like, oh, that's an honor. And Matthew said to me, oh, I'm in that show. I'm like, wait, I'm going to be in something that you're in? Okay. So the rehearsals happened. We did this concert. Dwight wasn't always happy with me because I just wasn't sure of myself enough. And he was like, Hope, I believe you. I trust you. Just do what I'm asking you to do. And by the end of that concert, I will never forget it, on the Saturday night, he handed me an envelope and there was a check in it. And I said, wait a second. I didn't know that this was a
That you were
pay.
getting paid?
No, no idea whatsoever. But all of those experiences showed me that this man, these two men, these two incredible men who were dancing in the company that I was longing to be in eventually, the Ailey company, still had a voice outside of that. They could work, live, and love this work that they were doing in a repertory company and still create something. So that's a seed already that
Mm.
they're planting.
So let me ask you
Yeah.
about this. You are not only training as a dancer, but you're also, it's like this seed is being fostered to be a creator yourself.
They were just showing me that there was a path to it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a path to be in to be in someone else's work, even though we live and work under the same vocabulary. We all
Mm.
love this, the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, I would honestly say is a Horton-based
Mm.
company that has, Mr. Ailey studied with Lester Horton. He was voted to be artistic director of the Horton Company when Mr. Horton passed away, and then he moves to New York, and he decides to have this other life. He's worked with he worked with everyone. He was on Broadway, so he also has this fill of work in his
And
life and
influences.
influences that he didn't shy away from. And so then he has a repertory company, and then these two men, Desmond and Dwight, are in this repertory company and can speak this language fluently and still have another voice. So, like
Mm.
I said, it's just like a seed showing you that you can do the thing you love and speak on a different pitch or use a different tonation to share what you want to share.
So at this point in your career, were you aware of how much you were both dancer, who sometimes we think of artists like a dancer or someone in orchestra, that often their body, their being, is a vessel for some other work. And yet also there is the artist who is creating the work. Were you aware at that time that you would be a creator of both? You would be a creator with your body to bring someone else's choreography to life, and were you aware that you would start to be a choreographer and creator yourself?
I mean, I think I figured that I
Mm.
would be the former. Like I'd be the person who was helping someone else pass their story along. That's what you long to be
Yeah.
when you're in a company. But then just because I would find any extra moment to make my own work, I don't think I realized that it was something I was called to do. I just had to do it. Like it was a necessity. We would, save up money to buy a video camera, get those little tapes, I forget what they're called, and you put them in the camera, then you'd have to get the adapter that was sort of like a VHS. You'd put, like we were filming ourselves all the time and we would just improv and then we'd watch it back. Oh, I like that 8 counts. I like that 8 counts. And then we'd have a dream. We'd write the movement down. We'd find the songs that we'd want. We went to Tower Records and just looked at the cover of albums, and those albums we liked what the cover art was. Oh, that might be a good one. And that's how we would choose. We would choose records and CDs, and then we would go into the studio, we would find it, we'd write down our story, and then we'd say, oh, one day I'm going to make that.
Mm.
Like, as I have a piece I'm waiting on. I have a Patsy Cline work that I'm
Oh,
waiting
I
to
love
make.
Patsy Cline.
Love her. And everyone laughed at me. I said, it's okay. I'm going to make this work. I have the title, I have the songs, I have the whole thing because it was written down. One day I decided I was going to make a Patsy Cline work, and it just hasn't happened yet. But it will happen.
So I hear you talking about this incredible desire that you didn't even say out loud, that was just inside you, that you had to create. You had this to come out of you. So was there some point in your career where you started to ask yourself, I guess what I'm asking of you, which is, what drives you to create? What's the inspiration outside of your own need? Why do you create as an artist?
I think that it's truly because I haven't always heard what I need to. Let me go back.
Mhm.
So you hear a really good love song, and you're like, that's exactly how I feel. I haven't always seen me in spaces, seen my person on stage, seen all of my struggles laid out exactly the way I feel like maybe someone else needs to hear them. Stevie Wonder has a song called I Believe, and then in parentheses it says, when I fall in love with you, it'll be forever. That is the song that I know will be my song. It's not my song yet, but I can't wait to say, I believe when I fall in love with you, it'll be forever. I can't wait to say that. He has been able for 7 decades to write songs that apply to everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not a song, there's not anything in his catalog that hasn't applied to somebody. Maybe I just haven't seen my story on a stage yet. Maybe I haven't seen it. So, oh, I haven't seen that. Let me say it.
And therefore, others have not seen it as
Seen it.
well. It is missing.
Right. I guess, but not punishing anyone.
Right.
You know, but I the reason it took me so long to actually say it is because I was afraid to call myself something, which is why saying it, I'm an educator, creator, mover, and motivator, is what my mother would always say. Hope, call those things that be not as though they were, because it's scripture. And so if I say what I want or say who I am, then I can become it. You know, but that can happen in reverse too. I can say the negative things and believe those things. So let me pick the words that are the thing that I want to happen, the mission and the vision forward. So I do claim to be a creative. I'm a creator, I'm a choreographer, I'm a writer, I'm a filmmaker. I have to say those things so that I will continue to move forward in my way.
And I also hear you saying that what you felt in all the things you were looking at, including art and dance, is that there was and is a void to fill.
Mm.
That all these things have not been said, or at least have not been said by all the people that need to share them from a different perspective. So, will you tell us a little bit about what is it that you still want to bring forward? What is it that's missing that you want to share with others beyond yourself?
I feel that when you're in search of something, you have to keep, like when you haven't found the thing, there's something dangling, then you have to keep reaching for it. Um, during the pandemic, I knew my retirement from the Ailey company was going to be a little skewed. I had planned to retire in May of 2020, and then we all paused in March. And so I was like, well, before that, I was like, I've been dancing professionally for 25 years. I should probably see someone, have a therapy session or something, because I'm about to shift into a new life. So I should talk it out. And then because we were in the pandemic all together, I was not alone in my separateness, in that my how I'm going to be disjointed from a lifestyle. I wasn't by myself because we were
Everyone was pausing in some
exactly,
way.
exactly. And then once people started going back to work and now I was in retirement mode, I was like, wait, something is not quite right. And so I wrote through Works in Process, actually, I did like a micro virtual commission with Ballet X, and I wrote some text that said it's okay to feel. And I was like, oh, I believe this. Like I didn't just write like, oh, it is okay for me not to be happy, and it's okay for me to be happy, and they can happen in the same 60 seconds. Like it's really okay to feel how I'm going to feel. And someone said, that really resonated with me. I have another search, an idea that I can share as a Black woman, as an activist, as someone who believes in all of the things that we need, that we hear people fighting for right now, and love. So I am in search of love in a different way. I'm in search of this relationship, partner, eros type of, family, finding my own life partner. I to be honest, I'd love to have a husband and a family,
You never know what'll happen after this
exactly.
interview.
Oh, thank you. No.
One never knows.
One never knows. But I'm looking for that. But because I don't have that, how is that affecting how I deal with the love of dance? How are all of these things a reflection of how I grew up and how I was loved as a young person? How do I treat other people? And even though that might not be direct activism, I'm still constantly trying to find my space with my relationship with love. And so that is my biggest search. It's not necessarily the movement, it's how I form those words. And so I have a piece that is like the building block for what I've been working on here. And it starts off, so I'm starting to think I'm one of those women who think that they will put up with anything for the simple sake of wanting to be held and loved. So I'm starting to think I'm one of these women who think that they will put up with anything for the simple sake of wanting to be held and loved. Love, what is that type of love? What does the word mean anyway? And I
What
wrote that out of
dictionary?
desperation in 2013. But every time I say it, every time I make something new to it, something else develops. So even though that work is sitting here, and it is my story, it's also someone else's thought too. What are you going to have to sacrifice? What are you going to have to give up? Someone says to me, "Hey, Hope, if you had a family right now, you wouldn't have this career." Does it matter?
Is that true?
Is that true? Exactly. Well, Hope, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, can I just check? Give me a chance. And I'm being super transparent, which is the other reason why I haven't seen that kind of transparency on stage. I'm going to tell you. I'm not telling you because I want to date. I'm just telling you because if I don't get past this point, there is some discomfort and some healing that needs to happen. And until I heal, I can't move on.
Mm.
I can keep saying I want to be the one, but if I'm not the one, then I can't expect the one. So all of those cycles are what's pushing me in
Mm.
this next flow. It's not necessarily inspiring me, but it's driving me to work harder, not to find the love, but to understand why my love relationships have been this way. That's just breaking down the things that I've been working on lately.
Yes. And I can also hear that you're aware that if you feel this way and it's underrepresented, then there are others, and in a way you're lifting them up with you.
I think
So,
so. I think so. I mean, that's what I've been told
mhm.
when I've done these works, or I've shared this. I even danced to this text once alone. I actually danced to it, and someone said to me, "I can't believe you shared all that." Like, because they could hear my voice. I
Mm.
did a voice recording and then I performed it. They were like, "Wow, I don't know." And I was like, "Okay, but was it okay?" And they were like, "Yeah, I needed to hear it, but I still can't believe you told everyone."
So
So
I want to hear more about this relationship building because, of course, you're talking about how you can share some of your aspirations or longings or thoughts about love. When you bring this into the creative process, I assume that, like many artists, you are getting commissions from X, Y, or Z where that might not be their end goal, right? Their end goal might just be this fabulous piece by Hope Boykin. So, in that relationship of creating, are you always bringing forward this central desire that you have for this to be a part of your work? Is it naturally always a part of your work? And are you accepting or refusing work based on how much the presenter's wish might match the piece you want to create? Because there's a relationship there with the person who needs art and the art maker.
yes, I think in general, those people who are inviting you to do the work believe that they just want a work. I do. But what they want is something extraordinary and good from you. And maybe every time you make something, it's not going to be that,
Mm.
because you have to fall down to stand back up. A really incredible creator and supporter of dance, Jonathan Owsbury, said, the next piece you make should be a continuation of the last one you just finished. And I was like, really? I thought I should go into a new place and make something new that doesn't look anything like you. Say, how can you do that? You're not a different person. And I was like, you're right. Even though the ideas are different, it's still me. I got a little bit of freedom when I came to the realization that everything that's inside of me, every influence, every ingredient, every Tally Beatty, every Alvin Ailey, every Judith Jamison, every, you name them, every Donald McHale, every Paul Taylor, I've done a couple of those work. Like all of these things are in me. So if you expect me not to do this one day, then something's missing,
Right.
because
Then that's not me.
that's not me. I am a culmination of all of these ingredients. And so that's going to come out. My story, my history, my pain, my trauma. I know that's everyone's favorite word, but it's truth. You know, the drama, the trials, all of that is a part of my stretched leg and pointed foot. All of it is who I
Mm.
am. And so if I'm going to say arabesque, the arabesque is abstract, but the music, the costumes, the lighting puts it in a context that changes how it's represented. We are the same age. Our
Yes.
voices are different. We were brought up in different places, but because we were both born at a similar time, we have a similar understanding and foundation, and no one can take that from us. And so, because there's this underlying, you know, simmering murmur, then we're going to understand one another, even if we have different experiences.
Mm.
So, whatever I do, you'll get just because we're from the same generation. And if I speak it in a language that young people can understand, then they'll also get it. And if I remind you that my mother's 80, then and I understand that, then they'll also get it. And that's the job. But the job is also to be as much me as I can. And it's difficult because, like I said, I do believe that presenters want you to bring whatever you want to bring. And it needs to be good, and it needs to be beneficial, and it needs to be worth their money.
And I think people sense if it's authentic.
Yes, but it's not even about sometimes whether it's authentic enough. Is it going to work?
Mm.
Because they are running businesses. But
Indeed.
which is why it's so incredible to be here, because I'm in a space, I am undisturbed. I can walk in at any hour to the studio and make nothing, and you're okay with it because I tried to make something. And whatever I'm working on, whatever phrase that I came up with at, you know, 10 o'clock at night here in the studio, if it lands someplace, I'll say, I made that in Chautauqua.
Mm.
I remember when that happened. I was in Chautauqua when I went on my walk this morning and I saw a tree that I had been walking down the same street was completely yellow. I noticed because I'm in a space of peace and healing and rejuvenation, and I can incubate
Mm.
and look at my surroundings and say, oh, yeah, I remember when I saw that yellow tree, and then today I went and made that duet.
Mm.
Like all of it is related. And until all artists can have a platform where the expectation is not good, the expectation is just thank you, do your best, whatever you make, we want. Until we can really get to that place, we can't function without places like this. I know I just transitioned, but I just want to say thank you
I was going to
because
transition right there, and you just choreographed that for us.
but I really do. I need to say thank you because without this kind of time, without supporters like you all, without the Duke Dangs and Caroline Cronsons from Works
Mm.
in Process, I could not, I would not feel like I could just walk in and not know and come out with something that I didn't have a plan for. I have benchmarks and things
Mhm. Mhm.
but I don't have to have a destination.
Yes.
I just have to experience true process. And that is awesome.
I love hearing you articulate that, and I would love to close with taking that thought about the importance of stopping, of pausing, to have time and space to work without the end product due, right? That you're not going to leave here, and while you are working on a project for other amazing places, you don't have to have it done or at a certain point when you leave here. What does taking that pause and giving ourselves that time, because I think everyone is a creator
Hmm.
in some way.
Agreed.
And can you leave us with a word of advice on when do we all need to take that pause as creators to say, do we need to take some pause and think about the work we want to do moving forward, the conversation we want to have in this busy, 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 busy world? When does everyone need to take that time and space?
So, I heard that multitasking is not a thing that
Mm.
humans can do. We literally cannot drive and put on lipstick and eat at the same time. You have to choose one. And the other thing is happening, continuing to happen.
Something suffers in there.
Something suffers, right? And so because we can't do that, at some point, if we are not going to honor the creative space, then we'll miss it. And do you want to miss the good idea? A good friend of mine said, you know what gets in the way of a good idea? I was like, what? He's like, another really good idea. And he's like, so what you should do is write it down so that you don't ever forget what the idea was, but you can continue to press through. And that's what the pausing is. That's what the intermission is. Unfortunately, we suffered for over 2 years. We're still in the pandemic. I don't care what anyone says. We're still dealing with this, and we're going to continue to. But what it forced us to do was to reset, as uncomfortable as the reset was. And then we were like, I can't wait to get back to this madness, this fast thing. But that causes illness. That causes us not to miss the goal that we really could have. And so being here, being in a rest bit, knowing that I can create and that I can say, hey, not today. You all work on this. I'm going to write. You all work on this. I'm going to just take the day for myself. The work is still happening because I'm able to unpack it. I'm able to relax. I'm able to dive in and ask myself the whys. Why is this important? Why do you need to? But without space in your mind, without space around you, without time, then you don't have anything because we're just trying to check boxes. And why don't we just continue to make lists of all the things we want to do, and then we'll check them off without even realizing it. I think when we give ourselves a break and give ourselves time, that's my thought.
Well, Hope, thank you for creating here, and thank you for
Thank
creating
you.
in the world.
Oh my goodness, I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us with Hope Boykin on CHQ Backstage. And remember, don't forget to find those creative moments for yourself.
CHQ Assembly is made possible through the collaboration and innovation of Chautauqua Institution's full-time and part-time staff, seasonal staff, and many volunteers, as well as participants like you, whose engagement, gifts, and subscriptions sustain our mission.